Throughout my years of playing this game, I have seen the phrase, "I can't do X without the gear," an innumerable amount of times. On my video comments, on other people's video comments, and on some of the most depraved corners of the internet. Well, I've got some news for you folks. I've run the numbers, I've done the math, and the results are in. If you've said this before, you're a bitch, but that's okay, I was too, and we can fix it and grow stronger together. So take my hand, friends, and learn with me on today's episode of Gear Cope. Alright, what are you bitching about now, Fritos? Well, if the intro wasn't abundantly clear, I have no idea for a series. I got really busy the last couple of months and spent some time, thinking about what I want to do, and one thing popped into my head. I kept seeing these comments under other people's videos, and I'd seen them under mine. It was people bitching and moaning about not being able to participate in a certain piece of content because they did not have the adequate gear. And I think to myself all the time, like, why do we have this thought? It's from a place of ignorance, very clearly. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos out there of people doing all sorts of content in complete rags, and I thought to myself, it would be really fun to make a series going through some of the more common bosses that people might be participating in, or some of the more common, I don't know, we'll do Coliseum at some point too, we'll just a bunch of shit. And I want to do three things. I want to do a run through with like some kind of maxed gear, maybe not full max, but like hundreds of mil worth of gear. Then I want to do something where it is under the price of a bond. So right now, what are we looking at? So something under 15.7 mil. For today's episode. I don't recommend spending money on bonds to get gear. Don't give Jagex your money. Keep it to yourself. But I do understand that some people that's how they do MMOs. They need some gold. I'll drop $7 or $8 or whatever the fuck a bond is for 16 mil. And I want to prove to you that if you do decide to go that route, again, I don't recommend it, but if you wanted to go that route, dropping $8 for almost 16 mil will get you a very, very decent setup. And then I also want to do something stupid like 500k or lower for Vardorvis here. We can cook up some absolute cursed shit for bosses in the future, which reminds me, if you have a boss idea, if you know what you want to see next, leave it in the comments below. I haven't started recording anything yet, so if there's something you're dying to see with this premise, let me know. But anyway, we're gonna go through those three different setups. Basically max, Bond baby, and broke bitch. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the numbers and about the math and how this works out and why you don't really see much of a difference in the kills from a fully maxed setup to just hanging out from Bond baby. Let me get set up in our max gear here, and we'll excuse me, Morty. We'll be on our way. For sake of simplification, I don't think I'm going to bring spec weapons. Burning Claws obviously wouldn't fit inside of the 16 mil, but it might actually. Where are we at with this? Oh my god. Okay, maybe that's really fucking sad, man. Maybe Burning Claws would fit inside that 15 mil budget. We'll see here, but for sake of simplicity and only measuring the DPS of the gear that you bring, like the main, what you're mainly hitting them with, I'm going to choose to not bring any spec weapons as to not skew the actual DPS output. And this is it, okay, folks? This is what you'd bring. You'd usually bring combo eats. You could bring some Karambans if you really wanted, but this is basically it, right? We got Oath Plates. I don't have an Oath Plate helm. Torva is basically a fine substitute. I got Torva and Oath Plate. I've got my Avernic Treads. I've got an Ultar Ring, Ferocious Gloves, and then a Noxious Halberd. The only two things that would be up from this would really be a Soul Reaper Axe and a Scythe. I don't have either right now available, but as we'll come to discuss, the damage really isn't that far off. The time to kill, which is what we're going to look at mainly, isn't that different. Yeah, we'll talk about the numbers. Oh, and I wanted to do this. I assume if you're watching this as an actual guide, you probably don't have an Infernal Cape. So let's get out. All right, so we got a Fire Cape on instead. The Blorf Fire Cape is absolutely fucking cursed, but let's do it. Okay, so I was off by a little bit, but this is a good opportunity to talk about this. With my setup, a Soul Reaper Axe versus a Noxious Halberd, it's about 1 DPS difference. Now, what does that mean? DPS being damage per second. It's just how much damage you're doing per second. Phenomenal shit. I don't particularly care about that, if I'm being honest. When I look at calcs, I don't really look at the DPS. Like, obviously, that's a good benchmark to, like, compare myself to other shit, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a fucking number. What I'm looking at is this TTK down here. Now, what does that mean? TTK stands for time to kill. And I want you to, like, think about your bank right now. I want you to think about how much money is in your bank, and I want you to to do something with me, okay? A Noxious Halberd is 43 mil, okay? Pretty pricey for some of you, that's fine, but it's 43 mil, okay? I don't have the sidebar pulled up, but I'll save something here and show you. But Soul Reaper Axe right now is 230 mil, okay? That's a big fucking number. That's a big fucking difference is what it is, okay? And now, DPS aside, think about your bank. Think about how a Noxious Halberd is like 40 mil, and if you have 5.5 times that money, which most of you I'm sure don't, you can get yourself a Soul Reaper Axe, okay? Now I want you to think about how much time that should save you, how much of a damage increase. Well, time to kill is different on average by 11 seconds. Think about that, 11 seconds. You'll be killing Vardorvis on average 11 seconds faster if you drop 220 mil on a fucking item versus what you have now. And obviously that's weapon to weapon, right? That's just weapon to weapon. The gear is the same in those calculations, but just weapon to weapon. Spending that much money will only save you 11 seconds in this setup. Let's go ahead and get a time here for Vardorvis. It should be noted, you know, I'll make sure to bring this up every video, but TTK is the average time to kill, right? There's a very real chance that I just pop the fuck off and slaughter him here and say a 40-second kill. Not likely, but possible. So bear that in mind. If it's ridiculous, like if it's way off of average, I'll redo it. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and kill him, grab a time, yeah? I'd also like to keep in mind too that I am using thralls throughout all of this, throughout all the gear. You should always be using thralls. It's free damage, man. It's so good. Another thing to keep in mind here is time to kill. It doesn't take into consideration thralls, obviously, and it also does not take into consideration how well you're performing, right? It just assumes like this is what your damage is versus that much health. Oh, this is how long it'll take you to kill it. Obviously, in a real scenario, I'm making lots of mistakes. I'm screwing shit up. You know, it's gonna affect the actual time. Now, it's still a good metric for how far or how long something should die on average, but keep that in mind. We're looking at, with a bunch of mistakes, mind you, a 2-minute and 30-second kill of Vardorvis. Used about half my supplies in this setup. Okay, let's go get another comparison. Now for budget setups, I have a little. I need to ask you guys what you want to see. I'm inclined to exclude Void for just right now. Elite Void is a little bit of a grind for a lot of folk, and so I just. I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable necessarily keeping it in here for calculations. I'd like to go at this from the perspective of a Bond baby. You know, someone who's got only money to spend. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and forfeit our use of Void here, and we're gonna go ahead and we got 15.7 mil. I actually need to sell some shit so I can afford this, but we're looking at 15.7 mil for a Bond today. We'll just lay eyes on it one more time. 15.717. Let's go ahead and find a budget setup that's gonna fit underneath that. We're leaning towards budget here with this setup, but hey, goddamn, I look sexy. Look at this shit, man. See that midriff? Yeah, I'm your dirty little. This is well under, okay? I really didn't want to go over. I didn't want to have that guilt on my mind, but this is way under, okay? This is what we're rocking. The Obsidian plate legs, unimbued Warrior's Ring, Dragon Defender, Barrow's Gloves. This is all, you've seen it. This is all really budget shit. So we're gonna go smack Vardorvis around. It's probably gonna be a little bit longer, maybe like 20, 30 seconds, and maybe less. Who fucking knows? Okay, no way. It feels kind of like... Okay, well, there's your proof. In fairness, I did play way better, and, you know, not losing ticks is a discussion in and of itself. It's a much different discussion, but there's your proof, okay? We downgraded by, like, 300 mil, 500 mil worth of gear, and we beat the time pretty handily, too. Let's go theory craft a really stupid piece of shit build, and we'll drive the point home even further. Yeah. Okay, so obviously, do I count Fire Cape in the super budget gear? I feel like we probably do. Unearnable. How low do we want to go? 500k? Do we want to do 500k? Does that feel right? Probably feels okay. How much is a Sarah sword? All right, 500k, folks. This is what we're rocking with. Sarah sword, monk robes, glory, warrior ring, warrior helm. Then of course Fire Cape and Barrows for our quote untradables. I know Barrow's gloves are like 120k or 300k or something from the chest, but again, it's a quest unlock. I'd say this is budget enough, okay? I don't know that we can really go much lower without kicking him to death. And I didn't bring this point up, but I guess anglers, technically, if we're counting food, we're going over on anglers, but I'm gonna assume before you're doing bossing content, you have some... Before you're doing Vardorvis, I'm gonna assume you have some food in the bank. Yeah, come here, bitch. See you in the pit, cunt. Yeah, check that spec. You like that? There we go. Not fast by any means, but still decent. I don't... There's no way that was better than the fucking halberd time, right? Right? Holy shit, it was better by 2 seconds. This gear was better by 2 seconds. Okay? And again, better, I say lightly, okay? I lost some ticks here. I ate an axe, right? I definitely lost ticks. I took some damage, had to spend time eating up with the max gear as well. But this should, I mean, this should just... God, what a banging first episode, man. Holy fuck. If this does not go to prove the fact that gear really does not matter, I don't fucking know what will. There is one final thing that I need to bring up, which I forgot to do earlier, which is my stats, of course, are 99. Stats are always going to be more important than gear. We can talk about it in a later episode if we'd like. I guess for future episodes, I could not bring super combats, keep myself brewed down. I don't know. It says I'm kind of assuming that by the time you get to this late game, you're basically in your 90s or close to. I could be wrong. I could be ignorant about that. Stats, of course, are always going to be important. Strength for max hit, attack for accuracy. Defense doesn't really matter too much, but these two are going to be 99 for these tests. That again, you know, that being said, again, you know, I'm 99 with all of the gear that I'm using, so it's just showing the difference between gear. If your stats are lower, your times are going to be a little bit slower as well, obviously. But between the gear, this gear beat out the max gear by 2 fucking seconds. I don't know. Again, we're all dealing with averages here. I don't know. This was a lot of fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Spanking Vardorvis with a Saris sword and monk robes is not something I expected to be doing today, but this is cute. Let me know what boss you want to see next in the description down below. Leave comments. Tell me why I'm an elitist HLC piece of shit, and hopefully I can be indoctrinated into their inner circle soon. Mommy, daddy, please notice me. All right. All right. Goodbye.